All right, guys, we're going to be doing the next room here for data exfiltration. This is the last one here. This is going to be for DNS tunneling. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start my attack box because I decided to use the attack box for this one. I don't usually do this, but for this one, I decided to do it. So it just makes it a lot easier when it comes to anything that involves DNS and TRYHACKME. So. All right, so in this task, we'll show how to create a tunnel through DNS protocols, ensure that you understand the concepts discussed in the previous task, exfiltration over DNS, as DNS tunneling works based on the same techniques. So I'm just going to read through this a little bit. DNS tunneling, TCP over DNS. This technique is known as TCP over DNS, where an attacker encapsulates other protocols such as HTTP over DNS protocols using DNS exfiltration techniques. DNS tunneling establishes a communication channel where data is sent and received continuously. This section will go through the steps required to establish communication channels over DNS. We will apply the techniques used to the network infrastructure we provided jump box and victim 2 to pivot from network 2 to network 1 and access the internal web server. For more information about the network infrastructure, please check task 2. We will be using Iodine tool for creating our DNS tunneling communication. Note that we have already installed Iodine on the jump server and attack machine. To establish DNS tunneling, we need the following steps. So this Iodine tool, it's what's going to allow us to make that DNS tunneling possible with them having already installed the Iodine for server on the attack box and the Iodine for client on the victim, which in this case is the jump box. And then it mentions how we're going to pivot. You're going to see from the attack box, we're going to run a crawl command. And when we run that crawl command, it will allow us access to resources that we wouldn't otherwise have. Ensure to update the DNS records and create an NS point to your attack box machine, task 8. And you'll need to use a pre-configured name server, which points to the attacker machine tunnel. Run Iodine server from the attack box or attack machine. All right, and on the jump box from the Iodine client, establish a connection. And this is Iodine without a D. For SSH into the machine on the create network interface to create a proxy over DNS. We will continue the D argument to create dynamic port forwarding. All right, so we're going to then SSH through that tunnel and then allow port forwarding so that we can access other resources. Once SSH connection is established, we can use the local IP and the local port as proxy in Firefox or proxy chain. And I believe we're just going to use proxy chain. Proxy chain, if you don't know what that is, it's just an application that allows you to specify which IP addresses you want your traffic to go through and also port. Let's follow the steps to create a DNS tunnel. First, let's run the server-side application Iodine. So from the attack box, you're going to have to then run Iodine like they show here. And so we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and as you already know, whenever you're trying to access the attack machine, you always have to go through the proxy, right? So you always have to go through the jump box. So we'll just go through the jump box here. And let me make sure I have my jump box up. And it is all right. So SSH THM at 10.10.36.100. All right. Yes. Password is TRYHACK. I probably misspelled it. TRYHACKME. And then we're in. So now we've got to SSH into the DIM attacker. So SSH THM at attacker. Right, we'll go ahead and run that. Yes, and TRYHACKME for the password. And I'll just make this a little larger in case you're unable to see it. What we can also do is just scroll in there a little bit. Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, and then we're going to run Iodine from the attack box. So from the attacker, we're going to run that, right? And so we just SSH into the jump box, and then from the jump box to the attacker box, and then now we're going to start iodine with a D here. All right, great. And as you see, it's got iodine with the D, it's creating the password, it's establishing interface for the tunnel, att.tunnel.com. So that's what it's doing. So we'll go ahead and paste this in and run it. It's going to ask for your password because we're using sudo. We'll use TRYHACKME in there, and then it's listening for the domain att.tunnel.com. And if we open up another one and we're to do the same thing, so we'll just SSH into, and this is, I'm just showing you something here, but here to then SSH into the jump box, as you know, that's the way we have to do it. We have to go to the jump box, and then from the jump box to the attack box here. All right. If I could type correctly, TRYHACKME. All right. And then from here, we'll SSH into the attack box. All right, TRYHACKME password. And then now I'm in the attack box. So from here, I could do an ifconfig, and you can see it's created this other interface here, DNS0 here. Okay, so if I keep that listener running, you'll continue to have that interface running as well. So from there, what we'll do is we'll go and connect to the jump box here. So let me go ahead and try that real quick. I'm gonna pause it. So in order to do that, on the jump box, we'll need to establish connection. All right, so let me go ahead and just type SSH 10.10.36.100 TRYHACKME, and it should let me in. Oh, I forgot my username. Oh yeah, if you guys watch my previous videos, you know I always forget the username. There you go. There. All right, now and you can see we're in the jump box. So this is the jump box, right? And it wants us to run iodine without a D from the jump box, right? So the attack box is a server for iodine. The jump box is the client in this case. So we'll just run this command, the sudo iodine, to establish the other set of the tunnel. And it sounds so complicated, right? But let me just explain this real quick here. So essentially, the attacker is running the server side of iodine. The client is running the client side, and there's a tunnel. And we're using this fancy software called iodine, or it's not even software, it's just, I don't know, like, yeah, you could download it here. It's a tool. And we're running it here, and we're running it here. And when you run it from the server, from the attacker, and from the client asset, then it establishes this tunnel over DNS, right? It's not very complicated. When you look at the picture, it starts to unravel, right? So let's go ahead and run this command here to establish that other side of the tunnel. And then it looks like it's good because it says connection setup complete, transmitting data, right? That's what it says right here, connection setup complete, transmitting data. So that looks good. Then from the attack box, we're gonna set up this port forwarding, and we're gonna have to SSH into the other side of the tunnel, to the client, or this port right here. So we'll just grab this and put this over here. Put that into the attack box. There's also a reason why I created 2 attack box sections, so I could do this very easily. So let me go ahead and see. You can see I have actually 2 terminals where I'm one where I have actually, hold on. Is that the client? Oh right, okay. So this is the attacker. This is the jump box. Oh, did I run that command from the wrong one? So iodine. No, I don't don't believe I did. Sudo iodine jump box. No, this is a jump box. Okay, so let's organize this a little bit here so I don't get confused. We'll have the attacker on the left and the victim on the right. If I can just close this up a little bit here. After this, I'll show you how to get iodine, right? So you can get that on your actual attack box. Use it for future reference, I guess. Let's see. This is the attacker here. All right, cool. So we got the tunnel server on the side. We've got the client victim on the right side here. We got another attacker window open over here. And it's wanting us to now establish port forwarding and connect via SSH and all that. So let's do that. I just input the command there and paste that in. And it's asking me to input yes, TRYHACKME. Okay, so it looks like we're using DNS and then SSH through it as well. So, and now all the communication in the network of the 10.1.1/24 will be over DNS. We will be using the -d argument for dynamic port forwarding feature to use SSH session as a proxy. Note that we will use the F argument to enforce SSH to the background and the for argument to force the SSH client to bind on IPv4 only, which is what we're doing there. Now that we have connected to the jump box over DNS zeros network, open a terminal using proxy chain or Firefox with the localhost list localhost 127.0.0.1 on port 1080 as a proxy setting. So we'll go ahead and try that. So I know this first one doesn't work. So I'm gonna, I guess we could give it a try. We'll see if it works. Maybe it works this time. Paste that in here. And I'm gonna run that on the attacker. Paste. No, it didn't work. And so we'll just use curl instead, because you can curl to this resource using that port 1080, right? So we're sending our request for HTTP 192.168.0.10 demo.php through the SOCKS 5 proxy of 127.0.0.1 1080, which we established here earlier is actually an SSH session between us and the attacker and the victim. Okay. And so now I'm just going to make sure I actually paste it correctly because I usually don't do that. Yeah, I did. All right, and then we're going to input that here, paste it in. And it looks like it's saying command not found. I don't know if it should be doing that. I think it should be working. Oh. Let me see here. Let's establish that command not found. Proxy chain. Oh, it's still got proxy chain. I need the curl command. All right, so let me go to my clipboard and remove the proxy chain command that they provide us. Use the curl instead, and that one should work. And as you see here, it says not found, got a 404, but we received some type of output, so that's good. It means that it's kind of working, right? So now it's telling us from the attacker machine, let's do a sudo TCP dump on Ethernet 0. So we're just gonna set up a TCP dump to dump all the traffic on between us and the victim. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna SSH into the attacker. I'm gonna create another SSH session. I know probably like, that's a lot of SSH sessions you've got going on there. And yeah, I do. And I do this for a reason. All right, so I went SSH, THM, and then the IP address of the jump box, and then TRYHACKME. I also do this because of my notes. It makes it easier to just get a screenshot of that for my notes at the end. and it kind of give a little explanation. I do my own write-ups. So from here, we're in the jump box. We'll go to the attacker, which is SSH THM symbol attacker. TRYHACKME. And right, we're in. So now we need to do a TCP dump of all traffic on that interface there. TCP dump -I ETH 0 UDP port 53. TRYHACKME password. And it's going to go ahead and dump all that traffic. You can see there is some traffic already between the attacker domain and the jump box. So that's good. That's good to see. Okay, now we're looking here and it wants us to run a curl command. So we'll run this from the attacker, but this curl is going to curl through the SOCKS5 proxy that we have and through the 1080, which is what we made was port forwarding. And we're going to request this through proxy of HTTP 192.168 test.php, right? And if we do that, that will get us our flag. So let's try it and see what we get. Oh, gosh, dang it. This is what I need to do. I need to copy this, and then, whoops, one sec. Let me reopen my browser here. And then I need to put this in the clipboard. And just put that in there, paste it in there. All right, and then now I just got to run that. And now it's given our flag. So you can see the flag is here. You can see that, TCP dump has detected some traffic between us, the attacker, and the victim, and that tunnel we have going on between us. You can see that the DNS 0 is running its server on the attack box still, and that the client is able to establish that other side of the tunnel and communicate, and that the port forwarding has allowed us to essentially send this curl, which is a website request, similar to the way you would go on Google and you'd search for websites. It's a curl command to get that website's code, the HTML code here. And it sent it to the victim, and then the victim was then able to access that resource and then sent that command from the victim to the resource we wanted, then gave it back to us, and then we got it on our side of the tunnel. And so our attacker is able to then see the flag there. And then now you can just input the flag there. And earlier when I showed you how many connections there were, well, let me see if let me scroll up, see if we can find that. I might have actually closed that. Oh, here it is. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4. So yeah. So you get input 4 there for the IF config. What is the network interface created by Iodine? If you go here, you can see when I did IF config earlier when I was explaining it, it's DNS 0, right? For the client side of the Iodine. I mean, for the server side of the Iodine is DNS 0. So it created its own interface there, of course, DNS 0. And then the flag is right here. So I pasted it in there. And as always, I put in the description of my videos, guys. It's still a niche I have, and I do it because I want you guys to follow along with me. And if anything goes wrong, you still have the flag at the end of the day. So that's it. That's the conclusion. I've been doing this since like last week, progressively making videos. Within that time period, I've probably picked up 7 subscribers, not a lot. So I don't ask for money. I don't ask for anything crazy. I just ask that you please subscribe to help grow my channel. and so other people can see this as well. I want to continue making videos, and so I just need your support and your help. Please help me out with that. All right. Well, I hope you have a good one. Danny out.